Okay, good afternoon, class. Welcome to the part 3 of the video discussion of current liabilities. And if tapos nyo nang mapanood yung part 2, yung second video, you might notice na nag-jump ako. No? Nag-jump ako dito sa page 15. Hindi ko muna sinunod yung sequence ng ating learning objectives kasi medyo yung discussion ng financial liabilities is medyo out of track siya dito sa sequencing niya. So para mas align siya, para mas direct is after the learning objective number 1, yung recognition criteria for liabilities. Isusunod ko muna itong classification of liabilities as current and non-current. And then yung second at saka yung fourth na learning objectives ay sa parting huli ko na siya i-discuss. Okay? Ayan. So, please take note lang. Okay. So, ganun pa rin yung flow natin. I have the book in front of me, whereas I have some notes for those discussions that have to be emphasized. Ayan. So, dito tayo sa financial statement presentation. Ayan. So, basahin ko, no? Liabilities are presented as either current or non-current on the face of classified statement of financial position. And please take note of the word classified. Ayan, naka-italicize or naka-italize siya, which mean that classified statement of financial position shows the current and non-current distinctions of liabilities. Kasi ang ating statement of financial position, there are two known ways to present the statement of financial position or the balance sheet. Yung una is pinipresent siya as to current and non-current, yung assets and liabilities. And then the other one is they are presented based on liquidity. Ayan. So kung sinabi natin based on liquidity, yung order niya is mauuna yung mga items na most liquid. So when we say liquid, ibig sabihin, these are easily convertible to cash. Kumbaga, yung pinaka-current, ganun ang ibig sabihin ng based on liquidity. So through this book, I just learned na ito palang presentation of assets and liabilities based on current and non-current distinctions. Ang tawag doon is classified statement of financial position. Ayan. So on the other hand, if statement of financial position is presented based on liquidity, ang tawag naman doon is unclassified. Ayun. So I don't know kung saan to nakuha nitong author, pero this is other information na rin for all of us. Okay? Please take note dito na disclosures of liabilities due within 1 year and due beyond 1 year should nevertheless be made in the notes. Kasi class, diba, kapag classified presentation, makikita mo kaagad kung current or non-current liabilities. On the other hand, kapag unclassified or based on liquidity, walang ganong presentation. Ang makikita mo lang is sequencing lahat ng liabilities from the most liquid up down to the non-liquid. Kaya in that presentation, hindi mo malalaman kung yun bang liability is due to be settled within 1 year or is it beyond 1 year. Kaya sabi dito, kung ang presentation is unclassified or based on liquidity, dapat ay naka-disclose sa notes. Ano yung notes na tinutukoy? Yun yung notes to financial statements. So dun sa notes to financial statements, lahat ng explanations na hindi kailangan i-present sa face of the financial statements, dito nakalagay. Kumbaga, ito yung mga supporting explanations, supporting computations na hindi pwedeng ilagay sa face of the financial statements. Okay? Sa face of the balance sheet or the statement of financial position, sa face ng income statement, etc. Okay? Okay, so since the general rule is to present the liabilities or the assets or the statement of financial position based on classified presentation or yung current tsaka non-current, edi ito yung i-discuss natin, current liabilities discuss natin. So, kailan natin malalaman if the liabilities are current? So, we have here four criteria. Una, liabilities daw are expected. Liabilities are current if, una, they are expected to be settled in the entity's normal operating cycle. Ayan. Ilang class, nababahin ako. Ayan. So, in this first criteria, ang pinaka dapat mong i-note dito is yung word, no? Normal operating cycle. Anyway, it will be discussed dito sa baba. Basahin ko muna. Pangalawa, held primarily for trading. So for this one, you have to take note of the word for trading or primarily for trading. Then letter C, due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting period. So ito, i-take note natin itong buong na to. Itong letter C. Isipin mo na lang ganito. Katulad ngayon, ang year ngayon is 2022. So sabihin natin na yung normal operating cycle of the business is itong 2022, let's say January 1, 2022 up to December 31, 2022. So that's the operating cycle. That's 12 months. Yung hanggang December 31, 2023, di ba? That is annex year. Yun yung tinutukoy dito na due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting period. Kasi ang reporting period of the entity normally is the last day of the year. So that is assuming that the entity is using the calendar year. Kasi merong iba't ibang klaseng year na ginagamit ang entity. Anyway, that's not part of the discussion. So, ulitin ko. Dito sa letter C, for example, ang entity, ang kanyang end of the reporting period is December 31, 2022. So ito tinutukoy na within 12 months after the reporting period, that is until December 31, 2023. So if the liabilities daw are due to be settled within hanggang doon sa December 31, 2023, assuming that itong 2022 ang kanyang business year, so still current liabilities yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? And letter D, the entity does not have an unconditional right. Ito, medyo luma pa yung term dito. Sige. Basahin ko dito. The entity does not have an unconditional right to defer settlement of the liability for at least 12 months after the reporting period. Ayan. So, ang mga magpapalito lang naman dito, ito, medyo word na unconditional, which means, ang ibig sabihin ng unconditional is meron siyang absolute right or 100% right. Yeah. Kaya lang, dito kasi, not kasi siya eh. So, parang yung not tsaka yung an dito is double negation siya. Kaya, pwede mo siyang pasimplehin na the entity does not have the right. Wala silang right to defer. Ano ibig sabihin ng defer? Other definition of defer means postpone or delay. So himayin natin, yung liability can be considered as current liability if the entity does not have the right to postpone or to delay the settlement of the liability for at least 12 months after the reporting period. So yun. So parang masyado kasi siyang mahaba, kaya parang lula siya intindihin. Pero ang ibig sabihin lang niyan, class, isipin mo, cut muna natin dito sa saan ba pwede? Yung entity is wala siyang right na i-delay. Yung sabihin natin yung pagbabayad ng liability for at least 12 months after the reporting period. So, ang reporting period ulit ng entity is December 31, 2022. So, ibig sabihin, after December 31, 2022, at yung entity is ano to, wala siyang right na i-delay na or i-defer yung pagbabayad for at least 12 months. Ibig sabihin guys, ng at least 12 months, yung pagbabayad is hanggang December 31, 2023. So, ibig sabihin, kung wala siyang right na i-defer within that duration, consider siya as current liability pa din. So, other way of saying it is, if yung entity is meron naman siyang, wala naman siyang right to defer that ng, let's say, more than or beyond 12 months after the reporting period, di magiging magiging non-current liability siya. Anyway, there will be example for this, no? Lapatan na lang natin siya ng example later or sa mga susunod na video para mas maintindihan natin siya. In the meantime, in this page, no, what we are presenting is there are 4 criteria to for the liabilities to be classified as current. Okay? Ayan, sige. Ang ano pala, hihimayin nga pala yan dito. Sige, himayin natin. So ito, all other liabilities are classified as non-current. Ibig sabihin, if there are liabilities that are not defined or that are not included in this 4 criteria, non-current liabilities sila. Okay? Ganito naman tayo sa accounting. We always have the definition, the criteria, and then if the item does not meet this criteria, edi hindi sila kabilang dyan. Okay? Ayan. So as I said kanina, operating cycle or normal operating cycle. Ito yung iti-take note natin dito. So basahin natin. Itong operating cycle daw, this is at the time between the acquisition of assets hanggang sa realization in cash. So take note, mula nang binili yung asset hanggang sa bumalik siya into cash. So if the entity is a merchandising one, edi ibig sabihin from the purchase of merchandise inventory up to the collection of the cash nung binenta yung merchandise inventory. Kasi 'di ba ang business cycle lang naman yan is bibili siya ng merchandise inventory, merong cash si entity, gagamitin niya yung cash na yon pangbili ng merchandise inventory. Then since that entity is a merchandising business, ang ginagawa lang yan is to buy and sell the product. So pagkabili niya ng merchandise inventory, lalagyan niya lang yun ng markup and then ibebenta. Ibebenta niya yun dalawa. Pwedeng cash sales or pwedeng credit sales. So if cash sales, tapos na kaagad. Naka-isang cycle na kaagad siya. May cash, pinangbili ng inventory, binenta, naging cash na ulit. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng sa madaling sabi, yun yung operating cycle. On the other hand, kapag naman credit sales, edi bumili ng cash, may cash, bumili ng inventory, ibinenta yung inventory via utang, and then ang mangyayari is kukolektahin pa yung utang. So from accounts payable, magiging into cash pa. From accounts receivable into cash. So yun yung sinasabi natin operating cycle. So that is the shortcut version. Pero syempre, in reality, if we apply it into business, hindi naman ganun kasimple yun. Kumbaga, yung pagbili ng, hindi naman yan yung pagbili ng merchandise inventory, that is simple if kung retailer ka or sabihin nating end user ka, katulad nating lahat. For example, yung small time na business, sabihin natin sari-sari store, di ba? You have the money, pupunta ka sa palengke or sa Pure Gold, mamimili ka doon. Yun na yung ibig sabihin ng acquisition of assets. And then, kapag naibili mo na, uwi ka na sa inyo, punta ka na sa sari-sari store mo, bibenta mo na siya for the end user. Diba? Yun na yun. That's the simple discussion. Pero syempre, if we're going to apply that in much larger companies, particularly in the cities, diba? Hindi ganun kasimple yun. Yung acquisition of assets, sabihin natin merchandise inventory, pa yan? Meron pa tayong mga tinatawag na Ipa-purchase order pa tayo, and then magpa-purchase order tayo sa supplier. So mahabang usapan yun. And then once confirm na yung order mo sa supplier, so i-deliver naman yung supplier sa'yo in bulk, in bulk. So kumbaga, volume ang dito, usapan dito. So i-deliver sa'yo, it may take days. And then from the delivery of the products, siyempre hindi ganun kasimpleng i-receive yun. There's also a process for that. Meron tayong yung big company, they have a receiving department to receive the products, to check if yung biniling products is yun talaga, tama yung presyo, tama yung quantity, walang spoilage, walang na-damage the product during the delivery. So ganun yung cycle. Okay? So I hope naiintindihan niyo yun. Ayan, yung example ko is merchandising. So what if manufacturing pa yung company? Kung manufacturing pa yung entity, ibig sabihin yung bibili niya is raw materials pa. So pagbili ng raw materials, ano pa yan? I-convert pa yan into finished product. Pero before the finished product, nandyan pa yung magiging muna siya, magiging work in process pa siya, di ba? So that is, kung nag-undergo na kayo ng cost accounting, so for sure na-encounter nyo na yung binabanggit ko sa manufacturing, di ba? From raw materials, magsasamahan pa natin yan ng labor, ng direct labor, indirect labor, then sa materials naman, we have direct and indirect. And then you also have factory overhead. Lahat yun magsasama-sama, di ba? And then magiging and then papasok pa sila sa work in process or sa work in progress inventory. And then bago pa siya maging finished goods, it may take days, weeks, or months, depende sa product. So ganun kadami yung transactions. So pero dito sa dinidiscuss natin sa operating cycle, to put it simply, yun yung ibig sabihin ng operating cycle. Ayun, so medyo mahaba, medyo elaborative yung aking discussion. Sana nakuha niyo yung gusto kong sabihin. Okay. And then sabi dito, when the entity's normal operating cycle is not clearly identifiable, it is assumed to be 12 months. Ayan. That is the default assumption naman. Kasi normally, ang isang business, ang business year ng mga entity is 12 months naman. Pero it's not always the case. Kasi kaya nga ang term natin is operating cycle, normal operating cycle. Kasi ibig sabihin, it may depend on the company or on the entity. Pero yung business operating cycle nila can be less than 12 months, can be more than 12 months. Pero if not mentioned, if not clearly identifiable, it is assumed to be 12 months. Okay? I cannot think of a business entity that has an operating cycle of less than 12 months, but I can think of entity or organizations that have more than 12 months as normal operating cycle. So ang example kadalasan is yung mga construction companies. So yung mga construction companies, more than 12 months talaga inaabot yung kanilang normal operating cycle. Kasi nga, ginagawa nila is they construct infrastructures. Could be building, could be bridges, mga ganun. Whereas, hindi mo siya matatapos normally in 1 year. Okay? I'm not sure. Ayan, may naisip pala ako. I'm not sure if it is included. Diba? Example na lang, itong Marinduque State College. Ano yung normal operating cycle namin? So, isipin natin, meron tayong 2 SEM sa isang taon. Whereas, ang isang SEM is 5 months. So, yung 2 SEM, 10 months lang siya. Diba? Pero I just remember, meron nga pala tayong mid-year term. Yun yung summer class. Whereas 2 months naman yun. So, basically 12 months din. Okay? Alright. Kasunod. Ito. Liabilities that are settled as part of the entity's normal operating cycle. And ito yung mga common examples class of liabilities that are part of the normal operating cycle. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, pag nakita mo tong mga to, automatic current liabilities yan. Trade payables. So, basta may nakita kang word na trade, kahit po more than 12 months yan. That's current liabilities. Accruals, also current liabilities. And operating costs. And ibig sabihin, kaya nga may word na operating, that's for operations, which is part of the operating cycle. Normally, ganun plus. Yan, are presented as current, even if they are expected to be settled beyond 12 months. Ayan, after the reporting period. Okay? Yung reporting period, that is the last day of the current calendar year of the entity. Okay? For dito, liabilities that do not form part of the entity's normal operating cycle, of course, non-current sila. Non-current liabilities sila. Only current if within 12 months sila ma-settle. Yeah. So this, the following are examples of current liabilities. Wait lang class. Okay, still recording. Ayan, so we have here some examples and some common examples of current liabilities. Medyo blurred siya, no? Anyway, readable naman siya. Ayan, so financial assets measured at fair value through profit or loss, FBPL. Ayan. Okay. Designated or held for trading. Yung held for trading, that's the old term for this one. I'm not sure if bakit financial assets yung term nila dito. Kasi it would mean assets eh. Ayan. So, hindi ko clear masyado kung gets masyado. Bakit yun ang gustong sabihin dito. Pero, siguro mas safe ito kung ang nilagay na lang nila dito is financial financial instrument siguro. Pwede pa. Kasi pag financial assets, it's an asset na eh. This is an investment na. Yun lang. Anyway, ang mahalaga dito is yung plus, no? Itong nakalagay dito na measured at FBPL. Yeah. May example pala dito, class. It should be financial liabilities at financial asset. Kasi kung asset to, magiging investment to. Since FBPL siya, magiging current assets to. Ayan, so it should be financial liabilities. Okay. Letter B, current portion of long-term notes, bonds, loans, and lease liabilities. Ayan. Please take note of the word current portion. Kasi nga, itong mga nabanggit dito, they are usually long-term liabilities. Pero again, since meron nga tayong term kanina, nasa na yun? Itong due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting period sa letter C. Diyan papasok itong current portion of long-term notes. Ayan, kasi nga, itong mga to, di ba, since long-term sila, and then ang normal naman kasi na arrangement yan is annual, meron diyang annual installment. So, ibig sabihin, yung magiging due on the following year, those are considered current portion of the long-term debt or long-term liability. Okay, notes, bonds, loans, lease liabilities. Dito sa lease liabilities class, most likely ang tinutukoy dito yung finance lease. Kasi pag sa lease, meron tinatawag na operating lease at finance lease. Yung operating lease, yun, normally current yun eh. Okay. Letter C, trade accounts and notes payables. Ayan, so pag sinabi mo trade, ay di current yan. Ito namang notes payables, if not identified, if not clearly identified, by default, current ang presumption natin dito. Sa letter D, other non-trade payables due within 12 months after the end of the reporting period. So, if you will notice, halos pare-pareho na lang sila ng term, itong mga within 12 months after end of the reporting period. So, whatever that is man, as long na mayroong mga ganyang statements, safe ano na yan. Yan na yung mga safe ano mo na dyan, safe na assumptions mo that they are to be considered as current liabilities. Okay, meron tayo dito bank overdrafts. So luckily, pwede ako maglagay ng note dito sa PDF kahit scan siya. So pull out ko lang siya. Ayan. So just a refresher, ano ba yung bank overdrafts? Ano? Sahin ko lang. Bank overdraft occurs when the bank account holder has spent more than his available balance with or without prior authorization. So, ang ibig sabihin ng bank overdraft class is, di ba, itong mga entity, mga business entity, merong mga bank account yan. Merong mga bank account sila na, of course, on that account, meron yung nakadeposit na cash. Ang ibig sabihin ng bank overdraft is, nag-ano sila, nag-overspend ang entity. So, ibig sabihin, for example, dito na lang sa Marinduque, land bank, ano. So, let's say si Pure Gold ulit. Ano ba? Si Pure Gold, meron siyang bank account sa land bank. Ang laman nun is 1 million. And then sa pagbili ng mga sa mga transactions nila, so nag-i-issue sila ng checks, and then let's just say na ang nai-issue nila na checks amounts to, let's say, 1.5 million. Ito ang laman lang ng kanilang bank account is 1 million lang. So ibig sabihin, may overspending sila na 500,000. So doon nag-succeed yung payment, pero magre-reflect yun sa kanilang bank account na meron ng credit balance yung kanilang bank account. So, ang tawag doon, bank overdrafts. Okay? So, if you will research about bank overdrafts, may dalawa yan eh. Yung tinatawag na authorized or non-authorized bank overdrafts. Pero hindi naman na siya ganun ka-relevant sa discussion. Kasi whether authorized or unauthorized, current liabilities yan. Okay? Close ko na. Alright. Sige, proceed tayo. Trade and non-trade payables. Ayan. So, trade payables are obligations arising from purchases of inventory that are to be sold. Ito, paki-highlight in the ordinary course of business. So, pag sinabi natin in the ordinary course of business, edi ibig sabihin, that is transactions made or done in conducting the nature of the business or the routine of the business. Kung baga pag sinabi natin ordinary course of business, edi kung merchandising yung company, edi they do activities or transactions that are related in the merchandising business. Mga ganon. Ordinary course. Okay? Alright. Other payables are classified as non-trade. Okay? Basta may trade payables class, current liabilities yan. Okay? What else? Okay na yan. Sige, sa inyo na to. Basahin ko ulit. Ayan. So, maganda ito, no? Paki-highlight ito, guys. Please focus on this discussion. Maganda ito. Basahin natin. The reason for the trade and non-trade distinctions is differing rules when classifying payables as current or non-current. Ayan. Trade payables are classified as current when they are expected to be settled within the normal operating cycle or 1 year. Kanina pa to, inuulit-ulit na lang natin. Pero ang mahalaga dito, class, itong term na to, whichever is longer. Ibig sabihin daw, basahin ko ulit, yung duration ng normal operating cycle or 1 year, whichever is longer doon is, trade payables ang term natin. Ito yung mahalaga dito, no? Whichever is longer. Common kasi ito sa mga questions, even sa board exam. Yan. Nakalagay dyan, whichever is longer, whichever is shorter. So, paka-take note na lang ito. No? Basahin ko ulit. Trade payables are classified as current liabilities when they are expected to be settled within the normal operating cycle or 1 year, whichever is longer. So, pag trade payables, whichever is longer, dun sa 1 year or sa normal operating cycle. Okay. On the other hand, Non-trade payables are classified as current if they are expected to be settled within 1 year. Ayan. So, sigurado ako, umay na kayo dito sa mga words na to, within 1 year, within the normal operating cycle. Ayan. Okay. Alright. Sige, ipasan ko na yan. Okay, konti na lang for this video recording. And so examples of payables. Ayan, so ganun lang din ito, no? Okay, sige, pasadahan natin. Accounts payables, these are napaka-common na to, no? Napaka-common na to sa atin. Accounts payable. Kapag nag-utang, normal, di ba? Pag sinabi natin nag-purchase on account. So accounts payable ang tinutukoy natin doon. Kapag naman notes payable, ibig sabihin mayroong in-issue na promissory notes yung customer or yung debtor. Loans payable naman, at as mentioned here, it connotes bank loans. Ayan. So magkaiba ang loans payable sa notes payable. Sa notes payable, nag-issue lang ng promissory note. Ano yan? Ano nga mga common words of promissory note? Mga ganun. This is, ano yan? I promise to pay ganitong amount, itong seller na to at this date. Mga ganun. Okay? Bonds payable, so alam natin yan. Bonds, basahin natin. So dito, issued by the debtor supported by promises to pay made under seal. Ayan. So itong bonds, edi mas secure ito kumpara sa notes payable. Under seal ito. Normally, class, ang nag-i-issue ng bonds payable ay si private business entity or si government. So, mas secure ito na pautang bonds. Kaya lang, maliit lang interest niya. It's just like notes, same lang halos ng konsepto. Mas ano lang to. Kumbaga, kung ikaw yung nagpapautang, mas safe ang pera mo kung bonds payable yung i-issue sa'yo. Okay. Liabilities under trust receipts. Hindi ito masyadong common. Sige, basahin lang natin. Before the corresponding liability to the bank is paid, the goods are released to the buyer in trust for the bank, which advance the money for importation of goods. So, ano lang to, na yung payment is parang nasa bank siya. Anyway, ang sabihin dito is this is also a form of liability. No? Ayan. And then other payables arising from sources other than purchases and borrowings. Kasi itong mga to, puro to related sa purchases and borrowings. So dito sa huling bullet, ano daw, other payables other than purchases and borrowings. Example, dividends payable, taxes payables, remittances payables, and accrued expenses. Ayan. So that's ito yung mga examples ng payables natin. Okay, so we have illustrative problems here. Pero yung boss ko iba na. Ilang klasa. Okay, so we have two illustrative problems here in computing current liabilities. Sige, discuss natin. Kasi to be honest din class, mostly yung learning talaga dito sa accounting is hindi siya lahat na didiscuss sa theory. Yung iba is matututunan mo siya through answering problem questions. Answering problems, discussion ng mga problems, discussion ng computations. Hindi lahat ay nakalagay sa mga theories na ganito. Minsan, karamihan pa, matututo ka sa mga ganitong examples. Kaya just an advice to all of you, huwag kayong tatamarin na magsagot ng ganito. Kasi dito sa atin sa accounting, mostly, computations din talaga siya. Computations mixed or complemented by theories. We're not saying na hindi importante yung theory. Equally important yun. Pero you all know naman, mas madaling mag-analyze at saka mas madaling ma-retain sa memories natin yung mga ganitong problem solvings. Okay, sige, discuss natin to. So, class, ganito lang ang diskarte sa pagsasagot ng problem. Ano lang, you always start with an end. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Start with an end. Punta ka na kagad sa tanong. Ano ba yung tinatanong? Bago ka tumingin sa problem. Kasi minsan, sobrang haba ng problem, tapos yung question pala, tinatanong lang. Ano lang, kano yung current liabilities, kumbaga, yung data mo. Andyan ang assets, andyan ang liabilities, equity, tas ang tanong, current liabilities lang, di ba? So, mas makakatipid ka sa oras kung alam mo na kaagad yung hinahanap mo. Okay, so ang tanong, how much is the total current liabilities? So we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have here 9 items, no, to consider if these items will qualify as current total as liabilities, ano. So okay, so meron namang solution sa baba, pero dito himayin na natin, himayin na natin. Una, anyway, basahin nyo rin muna siyempre lahat after reading after reading the question. Kasi minsan dito sa mga unang statement, meron diyang mga nakatagong clue. Okay, si company has the following liabilities as of December 31, 20X1. So wala naman masyadong trick. Okay, trade accounts payable, net of debit balance in supplier's account of 5,000, net of unreleased checks of 4,000, and net of postdated checks of 2,000. Ayan. So, medyo agad, no? Medyo yung letter A pa lang, parang ang hirap na kagad. Anyway, so ganito yung class, no? Ito namang ganitong transactions, common to. Pag nasagot ka ng mga item, ng mga question ni Balix or ni Robles, pagkasi ng author, common yan. At kadalasan sa mga ganyan, itong amounts dito, hindi yan yung tamang amount. Kasi may mga ganito. So, yan na natin. Analyze natin mabuti. Trade accounts payable. Ang amount, 300,000. Kaya lang, in this 300,000 daw, neto siya. Neto. Ibig sabihin, guys, binawas. Pag sinabi natin neto, pwedeng dinagdagan, binawasan, kinuha mo yung total. Okay? Pero normally, when you say neto, binawasan mo. Diba? Kasi, pag sinabi mo naman kasing inad mo, ito total yun. Okay, so basta pag neto, dinagdagan, binawasan, yan yung natira. Or yan yung balance. Okay. So meron tatlong items na binawas. So analyze natin kung tama ba na binawas sila or hindi. So check natin. Analyze natin. So una, net of debit balance in supplier's account. So analyze mo, supplier's account. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Ikaw yung nasa point of view ka ng ABC company. So, supplier daw. Ibig sabihin, si ABC is customer siya ni supplier. E di kung supplier to, ibig sabihin, bumibili doon si entity. So, kung bumibili si entity doon, edi ang account title na apektado dyan is accounts payable. Kasi supplier natin yun eh. So, ngayon, yung accounts payable, anong normal balance nun? Di ba? Credit kasi liability yun eh. Ang sabi dito, debit balance yung accounts payable ni company sa supplier. So, paano nangyari yun? Bakit naging debit balance ang accounts payable natin? By default, yung normal balance na dapat ay credit. So, ang simple explanation dyan is nagkaroon si ABC company ng overpayment. Okay? Diba normally pag magbabayad ka, we debit accounts payable and then we credit cash. So lumalabas na overpayment sa ABC kay supplier. Kaya yung accounts payable mo naging debit balance. So therefore, ang magiging lens natin doon or magiging point of view natin doon, yung debit balance na yun ay para siyang receivable natin. Para siyang naging advances. Para siyang naging advances to suppliers. So ang tanong, dapat bang ibawas yun? Yung debit balance, dapat ba siyang ibawas dun sa accounts payable? The answer is no. So therefore, itong 5,000 na binawas, dapat mo siyang ibalik. Kaya from 300, magiging 305,000 na. Okay? Okay, next, unreleased checks. Itong unreleased checks tsaka post-dated checks, I will admit, hindi ko to masyadong tanda, kaya I have to research for that. So, i-pull out natin yung note. Ayan. So, pag sinabi nating unreleased checks, ito yung ibig sabihin nun. Unreleased checks are the company's checks drawn and recorded as disbursed but are not actually issued or delivered to the payees as of the reporting date. So, ulitin natin ha. Drawn and recorded as disbursed. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, na-record na raw siya as nabayaran na. So, pag nagbayad na, ang entry mo dyan is accounts payable and cash. Alright? So, yun yung entry natin. Binayaran yung accounts payable. Kaya lang, sabi dito, but are not actually issued. So, ibig sabihin, nag-record tayo ng debit accounts payable and credit cash, pero hindi naman pala na-issue yung cheque. So, ibig sabihin, yung record natin is hindi dapat natin yun ginawa. So, therefore, yung ating recording ng debit of accounts payable and cash, dapat mo siyang i-reverse. So, kung i-reverse mo yun, edi you have to debit cash and credit accounts payable. So, therefore, itong 4,000, i-add back mo siya sa accounts payable natin. So, therefore, yung 5 tsaka yung 4, i-add mo siya sa 300. So, meron ka ng 309,000. Okay? Tago natin to. Last, post-dated checks. Itong post-dated checks, simple lang din to, no? Open lang natin. Ayan. Para lang meron tayong basis kung ano yung dapat natin gawin. So, sabi dito, post-dated checks, according to GAAP principles and cash accounting methods, itong post-dated checks is tinitreat lang natin to as, saan yan? And cash treat as the same way. Okay. Walang journal entry dito. Pero ang sabi dito, post-dated check is essentially a promise to pay. Ayan, a promise to pay. Just to give you a explanation, ano? Ang ibig sabihin ng post-dated check ganito. Anong date ngayon? February 22. So let's say meron akong transaction. Nag-transact ako sa aking let's say supplier. So bumili ako. Kaya lang wala pa ako pera. Or sabihin natin, malaki, nag-transact ako worth 1 million. Kaya lang yung laman ng ng bank account ko, 500,000 lang. So ang gagawin ko, mag-i-issue ako ng cheque na 1 million. Even though 500,000 lang ang laman ng aking bank account. Ngayon, ang gagawin ko dun sa date, sa cheque, hindi ko siya i-date ngayong araw. I-date ko siya as a date kung saan guaranteed na may pera na ako. Sabihin natin March 1. So, i-date ko yung yung cheque na March 1 and then nag-pay ako ng 1 million sa supplier. So, yeah, that's it. That is post-dated check. Ibig sabihin is yung cheque na in-issue is hindi siya the same date nung transaction o hindi siya the same date nung ginawa ko siya. Kasi normally class, pag nag-i-issue ka ng cheque, di ba, kung kailan mo siya in-issue, dun mo siya i-date. Pero pwede mo siyang i-date ng later date. So, sabi dito, a post-dated check is essentially a promise to pay. Okay? So, yun. Yun na yan. So, by saying that, so, itong post-dated check, kung magagawa ka ng entry dito, it's just like nag-debit ka ng para ang bumili ka ng let's say inventory, you debit that, and then essentially you will credit accounts payable. So para ka lang umuutang. Kaya wala pa pang bayad. So para kang nag-purchase on account. Kaya dito, itong post-dated check is lang to. It is just simply magre-recognize ka ng liability. Ayun. So hindi mahaba yung explanation. Sana nag-gets ninyo. Kaya itong natin dito, itong 2,000, since neneto nga siya, ibig sabihin binawas, i-add back mo din. So therefore, itong letter A, the amount here should be 311,000. Ulitin ko, 311,000 na. Okay. Close. Close. Okay, so 11,000. Okay, letter B. Punta na sa letter B. Ayan, ano, so ito yung masaklap. Ito yung masaklap sa mga gantong klaseng tanong, ano. Isang item pa lang, parang hindi mo na alam kung tatama ka ba. Ano? Okay. So letter B, credit balance in customer's account. So isipin natin to. Customer's account naman. So in this one, tayo naman yung supplier. So kung mayroong customer's account, ibig sabihin this is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable to. Eh, di ba, ang accounts receivable, ang normal balance niyan ay debit. Eh, credit balance siya ngayon. So, para lang siyang opposite nitong class, nitong debit balance ng supplier's account. It's just dito, nasa point of view ka naman ng supplier. So, therefore, dito class, itong credit balance ng customer's account is liability naman ito sa company. Kasi diba itong una kanina, itong debit balance sa supplier, receivable ito other receivable. So ito, payable naman, which is current. Kaya itong 2,000 included yan. Letter C, ayan. Financial liability designated at fair value to profit or loss. Ayan. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. No? Ayan, no? Financial assets measured at FBPL. So dito is current liabilities. So by seeing that, edi obviously, since FBPL nga siya, pag sinabing FBPL, financial fair value to profit or loss. So this is considered current liability. Ang other niyan, ang counterpart niyan is financial liability designated at fair value through other comprehensive income. So FBOCI. Yun naman ay non-current naman yun. Okay? So letter C, current din. Letter D, bonds payable maturing in 10 equal annual installments of 100K. Ayan. So ito yung sinasabi natin kanina na long-term current portion of long-term liabilities. Bonds is long-term kasi 10 years siya. Pero meron siyang installment, meron siyang namamature every year na 100K. So therefore, from this 1 million, meron diyang current 100,000. Okay? Letter E, 12% 5-year note payable issued on October 1, 2000 X1. So 5-year note yung payable, so therefore siya ay non-current liability. Wala naman siyang wala naman siyang equal annual installment. Kaya yung buong 100K, this is non-current. Kaya lang, we have to take note that this note is issued on October 1, 2000 X1. So, di ba, kung maalala nyo, sa basic accounting natin, meron tayong topic doon, whereas we compute interest income or interest expense, depende sa point of view. So for this one, since this is issued on October 1 of this year, ito yung tinatanong, so therefore, meron ditong maa-accrue na interest expense. You just, so magbilang tayo from October 1 to December 31. That is October, hindi kita yung, kita ba? October, November, December. So 3 months. That is 100,000 times 12% times 3 over 12. Tama ba? Okay, tumatama naman. Okay. Ito na. So we have here deferred tax liability. Pag nakakita kayo ng mga term na deferred tax liability tsaka deferred tax asset, ayan, mga non-current yan. Okay. Letter G, unearned rent. Ayan. So ano yung unearned rent? It is also part of the adjusting entries. Anong ibig sabihin ng unearned rent? This is class ha? Unearned rent revenue. Though unearned rent na yung nakalagay dyan, understood na yan. Kasi nga, list of liabilities to eh. So this is unearned rent revenue. So ano ba yung unearned rent revenue? Ibig sabihin, you collected cash in advance for the rent. In advance. Ibig sabihin, nagbayad ka agad si tenant mo ng renta even for for future months. Sige, for clear example, halimbawa, tenant ako. Ngayon ay February. So nagbayad ako ng renta for March. Yun. So that is unearned rent sa point of view ng may-ari ng that is the point of view nung nagpaparenta. Naka-receive siya agad ng cash, hindi pa naman yung due. Hindi pa niya yun talaga na-earn. So therefore, liability niya yan, which is current. So yung 4,000, that is current liability. Contingent liability, it's not part of the current liability kasi nga contingent pa siya. It will be discussed a little later sa mga future topics. Ano pa to? Kung sinabi natin contingent liability kasi hindi ba natin to measure mo na yung 10,000 pero hindi mo pa alam kung kailan mo siya babayaran. That's it. Reserve for contingencies, so isa pa ito. So these are since reserve siya. If I'm not mistaken, ito ay part siya ng itong reserve. Pag sinabi nating reserve plus, normally ano to kung may discussion kayo sa corporation, meron tayong ano yan, sa retained earnings, yung mga appropriated tsaka unappropriated, no? So pag sinabi natin reserve for contingencies, ibig sabihin, inilagay natin siya dun sa appropriated retained earnings. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya pwedeng galawin. So, ibig sabihin, itong reserve for contingencies, this is part of equity. Okay? It's part of equity. Ayan. So, punta na tayo dito sa answers. Ayan. So, lumalabas na. Ayan. So, tama naman yung discussion natin. Yan lahat. Ang tamang sagot ay 470,000. Ayan. Okay. So, medyo mahaba-habang discussion yun. Ito, na-discuss na natin. Ilang minuto na ba? Hindi nakikita kung ilang minuto na. I can still discuss the second problem. Sige. Discuss ko na rin. Mabilis lang naman to. Okay. Ay, sige. Maikli lang to. After this second problem, ano na tayo? I'll stop the video and then extract and then i-upload ko na. So, ganun lang din to, no? There are 9 items for consideration. Then the question is the same. Ganun din yung year. Okay. Trade account. Accounts payable, including cost of goods received on consignment. Ayan. So, class dito, paki-take note na lang yung word na including. Ibig sabihin, isinama. Unlike kanina dito, sa net. Net of binawas. Kaya binabalik natin. So, dito, including. So, well, I'm not saying na, I'm not giving you a hint na kapag including, ibabawas mo. Kapag net, idadagdag mo. Hindi ganun. Depende sa item. Depende sa kino-consider natin. Kasi katulad dito, including siya, tama naman na in-include, di tama yung 300K. So, analyze natin. 300K yung trade accounts payable, including cost of goods received on consignment. So, saan ba na-discuss ang consignment? Hindi ko ma-recall, pero sa inventory. Na-discuss to sa inventory. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin consignment, di ba, dalawa yan. May consignor, may consignee. Ang tanong, sino may-ari? Sino may-ari ng inventory? Si consignor o si consignee? Si consignor. Ngayon dito, based dito sa wording sa goods received on consignment. Ibig sabihin, si ABC company siya ay consignee. So, ibig sabihin, hindi niya pag-aari yung goods. Sinama niya sa accounts payable. I don't know ba't niya sinama. So, hindi siya kailangan isama. Kaya ang gagawin natin, yung 10,000, ibabawas mo siya sa Ibabawas mo siya sa 300,000. Okay, yun lang. So, yung letter A natin, 290 na lang yan. Letter B, held for trading. Financial liabilities. So, kasama yan. Deferred revenue, 20K. Ayan. So i-discuss ko to a little later kasi nung binabasa ko to kanina, parang nawindang ako. Kasi, sige, later. Deferred revenue, surprise mo, question mark muna. Yan, bank overdraft, na-discuss na yan, kasama yan. Income tax payable, kasama yan. Bakit kasama yung income tax payable? Yung income tax payable class, kanino ba yan binabayad? Kay BIR. So, kailan ba nagbabayad kay BIR? Normally, yung income tax due ng company, that is due, hindi pala normally, always. Always na. Ang deadline ng payment is April 15 of the following year. So April 15 of the following year is part of the within 12 months after the reporting period. So therefore, pag nakakita ka ng income tax payable, 100% current liability yan. Okay? Accrued expenses, ayan, that's current liability. Share dividend payable, ayan, it may sound like a liability, but it's not a liability. Share dividend payable, that is part of the retained earnings ba o share premium? Napin ko lang not liability. Yeah, tama. Sa share premium siya. Adjunct account yan. Share dividend payable. So, it is madi-discuss yan sa sa corporation. Okay, so hindi yan kasama. Advances from affiliates payable in 15 months after year end. Ayan. So, ito yung sinasabi natin na mga liabilities na due to be settled within 12 months after the reporting year. Kaya lang 15 months siya eh. So therefore, hindi siya kasali kasi long-term liabilities na yan. Letter I, loan of XYZ, pautang to ng XYZ, utang ng XYZ, guarantor C, ABC. Nasabi dito, it is possible that ABC will be held liable for the guarantee. So ang sagot, hindi siya kasama. Bakit? Kasi ang sabi, possible. Sa atin, sa accounting, para mapasama yan, dapat probable. So pag sinabi natin probable, the chance of happening is more than likely. Pag sinabi natin more than likely, that is more than 50%. So kapag possible, it means less than 50%. It could be 50% or less. So 50-50 or less. So therefore, hindi siya probable. Kung hindi siya probable, eh di yung happening is not guaranteed. So therefore, yung 45,000 na hindi kasali. Okay, so hindi ko natanda lahat kasi PDF ito. Pero nasa nasa baba yung solution. I believe tama naman lahat ng sinabi ko, anak. So we have here 290, 50, 10, income tax payable, accrued expenses. Ayun. So tama naman lahat ng sinabi ko. The answer is 405,000. So may explanations dyan. Ayun, ito pala. Yung deferred revenue. Okay, so class, ito na, last na to. I-highlight ko na lang. Ba't ako nawindang sa deferred revenue? Hindi ko alam kung mistake ko ito or hindi lang ako nagbabasa masyado ng accounting books for a long time. Hindi naman for a long time. Ano lang, ito talaga yung naalala ko. At saka normally kasi diba sa accounting, when we do not know the word, anong ginagawa natin? We look up the word sa dictionary. When we say deferred, that is almost the same with unearned. Diba kanina sa first example, ayan, unearned rent. Yun, 4,000. Diba? That's part of current liability. Ayun, no? Ngayon, pagdating dito sa deferred revenue, for me, it's just the same as unearned revenue. So for me, it should be added as, it should be considered as current liability. Kaya lang, upon looking dito sa solution, wala akong nakitang 20K. So parang parang mali yung author Diba? Yabang ko, mali yung author hindi ako. So I read, buti na lang, meron ditong explanation. So yun, ang sinasabi niya dito na yung deferred revenue daw is, tama naman ako. Deferred revenue is similar to unearned revenue, except that deferred revenue is long-term. So, I don't know, no? I mean, until now, hindi ako convinced na kung makakita ko ng deferred revenue, for me, current yun. Pero siguro kailangan ko pa ng other example, another set of problems na ganito rin yung naging solution. So sa mga manonood nitong video, if you could show me another set of example, whereas yung deferred revenue, kahit ano, kasi para kahit pa anong example, deferred liability, deferred, sige, deferred revenue na lang para same. Kasi when we say deferred, that means unearned. So for me, it should be current. So meron naman siyang explanation dito. By following this explanation, yung deferred revenue, gusto niyong sabihin na long term. Ayun. So yan lang yung sa akin dito. So meron naman siyang explanation, hindi naman siya mahirap unawain na para sa kanya, pag sinabi mong deferred, it means long term. Na pag sinabi mong unearned, means short term. Yan yung gusto niyong sabihin dito. So yan lang. Okay, so all others naman, I believe I have explained them well, no? Ayun, so this wraps the end of this video discussion. Ano ulit? Cut ko muna ulit and then recording ulit tayo ng mga next na pages. So, medyo madami pa siya, medyo madami. It's just I have the time right now, so sana ganito lagi. Okay. So I'll stop the recording. Sana panoorin niyo ito.